So I'm going to turn on the presentation for today's slides so that we can start. So all about journal articles, and then we are going to cover, just let me go to the very beginning. Okay. So some introduction about today's learning objectives. So we are going to learn how to really tell whether or differentiate whether a journal is scholarly, peer-reviewed or not, and also to learn like how to quickly check whether the library have added access to journal that you particularly looking at, and also very importantly, how to get full article about overview of the journal articles collection we have at HKBU Library. There will be, we cannot buy everything, so certainly we're going to cover how you can gain more full text. We try to make this activity as active, interactive as possible. At this moment, it's only me sharing the video, so I really am seeing a wall of names rather than like your pictures and also your videos. So unfortunately, this is the limitations of online learning. So I do design a warm-up activity. So this is built with Kahoot. So I'm going to just use this platform to do some warm-up exercise. So not sure if you have used Kahoot before. So this is like a online surveying platform where you can I will show some questions and then there will be like 4 options and then one or more than one is correct. So you can respond over your end by clicking on the certain statement that you think is correct. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to turn on the other browser. And I'm going to enable the activity. So everyone, if you have the facility by hand, you can, oh, sorry, it's too loud. So what you can do is that you can use your mobile phone or you can open a tab and then type in www.kahoot.it. And then it will ask you to type a game pin number into the box. So that's the 7-digit code number, code pin that you need to type into the box. So everyone, did you follow me? So please go to this link, www.kahoot.it, and then they will ask you for enter a PIN number. So the 7193526 is the PIN number. Let's wait for like maybe around 1 minute for everyone to join. So you can see those 12 players has already entered the activity. So we are going to, let's wait for a few seconds before everyone who wanted to join to participate. And then while I will just briefly introduce the mechanism. So we have 5 questions in total. And then those are really, we haven't really shared anything yet, but those are related to journal articles. So I'm just going to use this activity to gain some like understanding of your knowledge at this moment so that we can focus on certain part of the area based on your performance. And then this also adds a element of competition in it. So do try your best to answer the question correctly and also quickly. The fastest you you respond, like the highest number of points you can gain. And also, if you answer the questions wrongly, then you will receive 0 points. So this is pretty much the gist of it. And then while you're still entering the Kahoot.it, I will just also share how you can participate. So basically, there will be 4 statements, and then each statement will be labeled with a color like blue, yellow, red, and also green maybe. So you need to match the color from the presenter's view, which is this screen I'm sharing, with the options on your mobile phone or on your tab. So this is how it works. We have 33 players at this moment. I'm going to count down to 30 seconds so that everyone who wants to join the competition can join, okay? This is the pretext, and then after maybe I finish the presentation, there is another round of competition. Normally I will really, if we are doing this session in a in face-to-face format, I will bring some souvenirs, prizes to the floor, but unfortunately this time I cannot provide you such incentives. Sorry about this, but if we see if I see you later, like in future, if we resume our normal services, I will certainly, please do say hi to me and also to other colleagues of mine. I just saw a comment, a question, private question from a student. So they ask, would my attention rate be lowered if I open the Kahoot window? Yes, it will be lowered, your attention, but it won't affect your duration. No worries, you can still play with other tabs or other browsers, like when you want to do hands-on access activity, that's fine. Just the requirement is that you need to keep Zoom open. So it doesn't need to be the key application, but we will monitor like the duration of the percentage, like you keep Zoom open. So don't close it. While in the meanwhile, you can use other tabs, or even you can use a second device to do some activities. Thank you for your question. Okay, so we see 32 of you. So probably let's move on. Some of you didn't join. Maybe you are like, it's not very convenient for you. That's fine. It's really mainly for warm up. So let me start the activity. So take a guess. This question, there will only be one correct answer. Which of the following is not a periodical? You see on your tab, there will be 4 boxes with different colors. So you can choose the one that you think is not a periodical. 4 options. There's a countdown of 1 second at this moment. So let's see. So roughly half of you got it right. So dissertation is not a periodical. Of course, we only want to graduate once. We don't want to repeatedly work on our thesis or dissertation. So this is a very good highlights of like what periodicals look like. So you see newspaper, normally it will publish daily, magazine, maybe weekly. Journals, it can seriously varies from 12 issues a year to maybe only 1 issue a year. So this is a very unique capture of journal articles. It's a periodical, it's published periodically. Okay, so now let's have a look at the current leaderboard. So you see here, Fearless Stove is actually every one of you on this screen doing very well. So let's move on to the next question. Good job. So here's next question. So take a guess, roughly how much percentage of money we spend on buying e-stuff. Oh, only a very small fraction of you got it right. So actually, we spend almost like 85% of the money at the budget on e-resources acquisition, because we really you know, currently there are so many books available in electronic formats, and also certainly journals are moving mainly to e-platform, and all those are very easy to access from a remote location, like you don't need to be on campus. So this is really the trend, the direction that we are working on. So it's not 75, it's 85%. Okay, let's see the current score board. Still, Fearless Stove is ranking on top. Good job. Now let's move on. So what does ILL stand for? That's the abbreviation for ILL. Oh, okay, 3 of you got it right. So the correct answer is Interlibrary Loan. That like a loaning service that we sustain with our different other parts of our participating library. Internet library lending, that could be one future name for our service, but actually the very commonly used term is interlibrary loan for the interlibrary loaning for journal articles. So only 3 of you got it right. Now let's see. Wow, so we see a rising star, rock star tiger. So good job. Now let's move on to the fourth question. So speaking of the peer review process, what does peer refer to? Okay, good job. So maybe a third of you got it right. It's people in the same profession. So those are peer experts rather than people like only share same interests or they like physically by accident, like within the same class or within the same program. With research group, those are not what we refer to peer. Peer really means those peer of like group of scholars who share the same level of expertise on a certain subject area. So it's the green icon that is correct. Now let's see the current leaderboard. Still Fearless Stove is like leading all the way through. So now let's look at the next one. The last question has more than one correct answer. So there's not only one correct answer. So let's have a look at this one. So in which of the following scenarios we'll need to use journal articles? There are more than one correct answer. Actually, all the questions are correct. So good job, everyone. Since there are really lots of cases, scenarios we need to consult to journal articles to find different parts, areas of information we need. Sometimes you want to find the methodology, sometimes you want to refer to the overview, sometimes you look at the conclusions, the insights gained from the journal article. So really it applies to different stage of your research cycle. So literally all the statements are correct. So that's the end of today's brief pre-workshop quiz. And then we see, this is cute. This is the podium. So good job, all of you. Now let me stop the sound. Okay, good job. Now let's move back to our presentation. Let me leave this tab. Okay. So some of the content that I plan to cover is already reflected in the activity. So what are journal articles? Simply put, those are articles appear in journals, and journals are normally published periodically, so that they can reflect the cutting edge aspects of a certain discipline or subject area. And then the knowledge can be expanded and then built upon previous work. So this is peer journal articles. And then we also touch upon a very important aspect of journal articles. It's the very rigorous peer review process. So it's like a process where experts, like the peer reviewers, will check and confirm the quality and also the articles like their focus related to the journal that they submit to. So this process can be very rigorous and demanding. So the next slide highlights the process of peer review. So normally we will do the research scholars, they will do the manuscript, and then those will be submitted to the journal for the editors or the reviewers to review. So the editors will normally they will quickly take a glance of the abstract, the findings, and then quickly determine whether those are like relevant to the journal title or not. So if it's like totally inappropriate or like not really closely relevant to the journal's title, they will get rejected. However, if they think it's worth further like enhancing or it deserves a revision, like more deeply, more in-depth revision of the overall structure, they will send the feedback to the authors, and then they will go through a very close modification process, and then those will be submitted back to the reviewers to review. And then if they think those changes are satisfactory, they can be accepted and then later be scheduled for publishing. So the process can take really a very long time. Normally, I would say 3 months, 4 months is really totally acceptable. Some of the journals can be very quick. They publish communications, correspondence like in maybe 2 weeks, but normally it will take several months to get through this peer review process. So this is also a way that they can like put some quality control of the journal articles that we see every day in our Library One search in the databases. So this is how we govern the scholarly communications, like the landscape. But having said that, peer-reviewed journal articles doesn't always mean that the article is high quality. Sometimes some research with flaws and maybe some fraudulent research articles do get through the peer review process, but maybe later they will be picked up and then get criticized on. And then in the meanwhile, sometimes just due to different scenarios or different, what we don't know, whatever reason, sometimes some good research won't get published through the peer review process. Maybe they will be reflected in social media. Maybe the author will publish on their own personal like website or their repository, or maybe those are not, they are not very comfortable with releasing those to the public. So those will never be published through this like mainstream channel, but we never know. So peer review is just merely one key aspect of scholarly articles, but it doesn't really truly reflect the quality. So what I want to say is that for students and also for teachers, they certainly will still be very look at each journal article using a very critical mind. So you still need to do some evaluation processing when you choose to use certain articles. Okay, now let's move on. So how to quickly check if an article is peer-reviewed? One of the options is that you look at the article level information. So for example, this is a screen capture of a peer-reviewed article. And then you can see here, this sorry, here we underlined it. So you see the information of this article is that it's received in October, and it was accepted for publish like literally in 3 months later. So this is a very clear a signal that this article went through a peer review process. And then you can basically tell from the URL, this is from a Nature publishing group, a journal from the Nature publishing group. And then there's another way, which is to look at an article title level information from the publisher's site. So again, we are still looking at the journal from Nature. So let me zoom in a little bit. So this page is, as you can see, it's from Nature, and then this page is intended for authors and referees. So, and then the title of this page is for peer review policy. So you can see that they specifically mentioned that those following types of contribution to Nature research journals are peer reviewed. It's articles, letters, brief communication, etc. So they do specifically mention what types of content are peer reviewed. However, you may refer that maybe, let me see, for example, like advertisement or what else? Like advertisement may not go through, on that journal may not go through a peer review process because those are really not super related tied with the key focus of that journal, which is purely for scholarly communication. So this is also another way that you can find hints of whether a journal is peer reviewed or not. Okay. And then the third option is to look at the journal title level information from the database publications list. So here is one example, and then I think maybe it's better for me just to do a live demonstration. So what this option is really about is that, you know, sometimes journal articles will be indexed in a database, and then sometimes the database will provide you the information like the overall parameters of a journal. So, and then this example is from a database called EBSCOhost. So what you can see is that they will show you the publication details for new scientists, like for example, the ISSN serial number, publisher's information, link, subject, description, etc. on their overview page. And you can also see that peer-reviewed or not, it says clearly no. So that means it's not a peer-reviewed journal. For those of you who are familiar with this resource, actually this is more like a magazine type of resource. Okay, so now I'm going to just quickly go to the library homepage and then share. Let's try something. Maybe I will just use New Scientist, for example. So I'm just using the very by default function of one search, and then I clicked on search. So you can see the first result actually is what we need. It clearly mentioned that it's a journal and then the title is New Scientist. Let's click on the link and then have a look. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. It directs me to another different database called ProQuest. So unfortunately, this overview glance of New Scientist wasn't showing whether it's peer reviewed or not. It's just showing the other common descriptors of a journal. So never mind, let me go to the third one. See, maybe let me try the first one. It's Factiva. Let's go to the third one. So we are providing access to a certain journal from many different access points, which I will highlight later shortly. This one doesn't look super correct. This is also from Factiva. So never mind, I will just close it. And then let me go to another place, which is, if you stay on one search, you can have a look at the banner options. So what I will try is the journals A to Z list, and then where you can search for the journal title again as well. So let's try this one. So what you can see, now we get it. So what we can see is that we search for the journal New Scientist, and then you can see actually if we want to view it online, there are actually 9 options in total. We have already discovered ProQuest and also another database called Factiva. So what I actually want to demonstrate is this from EBSCOhost Academic Search Premier. So let's try this link. Okay, here we go. So this is the screen capture that I was trying to relocate. So peer reviewed or not, it says clearly no. And then, for example, if we want to try another very famous, very useful title many of you asked about is the Harvard Business Review. You will actually see that we do have access to this resource. Let's go to online resource. And then let's have a look together. Let me close this. So we'll see that it's published by the Harvard Business School, but actually you will see it's not peer reviewed. However, I think for many of you studying business or management, this is also a very high caliber resource that maybe your instructors, professors ask you to read. But this is really more like a informational piece. However, those are really of very high quality, and then they may not go through a peer review process, but I would say they certainly go through very rigorous editing stage by the editors of HBR. So something for you to keep be mindful about. And then we can try another journal, Lancet. This is a medical journal. Some of you may be following the development of the pandemic outbreak, and then lots of journals are published on this well-known medical journal about the current development. So we can also have a quick look at its description from the A to Z journals list. We are still landing on ProQuest, where not so many descriptions were provided, but still, this is where you can see the overview of a journal. And then if you scroll down, it actually shows you different issues by year and then by volume. Okay. Let me try click on the Lancet, the link, and hopefully this way you can see a more close overview of our subscription availability. So now, again, for the Lancet, there are 9 access points for you to use, but we want to highlight that some of the link doesn't provide you the full coverage. For example, the first one, it says it is available from 92 with the most recent 3 months not available. So this might not be the best place for you to use. However, you can try the third one. So it's available from 1995 and it doesn't put an end date. So that means it should be current. So we can click on the Elsevier Science Direct database. And then over here, you can see it's like the landing page. And then you can move on to the current latest issue of this journal. Okay. So let me go back to the presentation. And then about distinguishing journal articles from other like scholarly sources, sometimes you will confuse it with dissertations, thesis, or book chapters. So over here, we highlighted 3 other sources in citation, APA citation format. So you can see the first one is a journal article because it has a journal's name, volume, and also issue number, and also page number. The second one actually is a book, and then we specifically mention about the pages where we are citing. And then the last one is a dissertation from a university, and then the title is listed over there. So sometimes you can tell whether like you can tell the resource type by looking at the reference formatting. And then what is the easiest way to find scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles? And then since we are from the library, and then it's really the most easiest way for you to find high quality information is to search from the library website. And then those resources are really, we are paying really lots of money to keep our collection, to develop, to curate our collections. So they are mainly catered for faculty and also student learning. So you can discover the content using one search as I just demonstrated. Let's do some live demo for the live demo using a topic, fake news on social media, for example. Let's see. Okay, let me go back to one search and then just use fake news. And I'm just going to use the quotation, the phrase searching to make the results more precise. So very easy way for you to find journal articles, peer-reviewed journal articles from one search is just simply apply 2 filters, making use of the functions on the right-hand side, which is to check articles as the resource type. We are running out of time. It's already 3:10. It's okay. We checked articles, and then we also need to check peer-reviewed journals. So you see the active filters here already reflected the changes we added. So articles, peer-reviewed journals, and then in this way, what you see over here, it's of high quality. And then if you want to gain a full text PDF, as you can see here, there are like 3 options for you to dig deeper into the content. So you can click on online access, or you can just simply download the PDF. Let's try this, and hopefully it will work. So it's a one-click button for you to just go directly to get the PDF. Let's try the online access as well. So here, this is the HTML file of this article. So it looks like it's very long. So it looks like we should have access to it. And then this one is still responding. We can also download the PDF from this publisher's site. It will work as well. So it's been quite slow. I'm using my own laptop. Okay. It's loading. Should be fine. I think we should be able to get the full text. Okay, there we go. So now it's responding and we are able to see the full text. So let's go back to the slide. Here. So I'm going to move on to the second point, which is about our subscription. So here is a very basic infographic showing you our e-collections overview of it. So we have over 137,000 of journal articles, e-journal articles, and we currently subscribe to around 2,400 serial titles, journal titles, and we spend 85% of our money into e-acquisition. So for like 2,400, looks like a large number, but actually if you divide it by different majors, some of the journals in certain majors, actually we don't have enough money to subscribe. And then in that case, we do need to rely on the previously mentioned ILL to get the full text of it. And then how we can check if we have access to a journal title. So as mentioned just now, that we can use the journals A to Z list to find specific title. So just like as what we did with Harvard Business Review and also the Lancet. And then here we are using the cell, for example. Okay. Actually, you can also search cell in OneSearch using the default search function, but just make sure that you're looking at journal rather than journal articles for that resource type, because the journal refers to the title of the journal should be cell rather than you can keep cell in the journal articles title. So it can be sometimes confusing. And then about getting full text. So let's get to the nitty-gritty part of finding full text from our library and also from the different services we provide beyond our collection. So normally when we have access to the full text of the article, you can just click on the online access on OneSearch and then you should be able to get the full text. And also from the library databases, normally you might see this icon already. It's an icon with the text, check full text at HKBU Library. And then if you click on that button, that icon, it should link you to our OneSearch interface. And then it will further tell you whether or not we have the full text. So this is the mechanism. So essentially, if you are using a third-party database or resource, once you click on the check full text button, it will bring you back to OneSearch and it will run a second check against our collection. Okay. And then if the library does not have a subscription, you may try the following. The first one is what we have covered, Interlibrary Loan service. And then you can also use open access manuscript of the article that can be uploaded by the author to probably their own research repository, institutional repository, or their ResearchGate profile, or maybe on Google Scholar. And also you can I think the most straightforward way is you can ask librarian and then we can do another round of checking for you so that it will save your time and also efforts in going through the very sometimes onerous process of getting the PDF, the full text copy of the article you want to use. And then about getting the Interlibrary Loan service. So this is the link, and then over here, that's the homepage of the service service guidelines. So you can click on the button on that page to access to the Interlibrary Loan service, the system. So the service is free of charge. Everyone at HKBU has unlimited quota. It will take around 4 days for us to process. However, because we have reduced our task, like our like our services, many of our colleagues are working from home. This workaround can be extended, unfortunately, but we will respond to urgent requests. And then the feature is also integrated with OneSearch. Like here, this is one example. So if we don't have full text, it will clearly show, let me try to zoom in. Okay, it will show you there's no full text. You may request it in Interlibrary Loan, and then you can click on this blue banner, and then it will link you to ILL. Some other options for you to use using non-library tools is on Google Scholar. So if sometimes you can also copy paste the title of the article in Google Scholar, and then it may happen that there will be a PDF version, probably by their institution or maybe by ResearchGate, showing you the feature, and then you can just click on the link, and then you can download the copy. But I would not recommend you to begin your research using Google Scholar, because lots of time if you search for example, social media, fake news in Google Scholar, it's very hard for you to find a high quality journal or like real peer-reviewed journal articles from the first couple pages of the results. Sometimes they can be really messy, and then it's really hard to tell the quality of the source, like where they publish the articles to. So we do recommend you to start from the library databases rather than using Google Scholar as the sole resource for you to start your research process. Okay, so this is the third point. We have been covering things very fast. So I'm just going to quickly summarize what we have covered. So you do need to pay attention to whether a journal article is peer-reviewed or not. And then we mentioned about how you can check the library holdings using the journals A to Z list, and also by checking different publications profile under their the databases that indexing them. And also we mentioned about how to gain access or maybe request a full text articles using the check full text at HKBU Library icon in databases, and also via the ILL service. So I'm going to maybe skip this Kahoot.it competition and just quickly go through those questions together with you. So let me go back to my dashboard. So I did prepare a post workshop competition questions, but let's see if I can. Okay, I just want to show the questions to you, and we can walk through the questions together. Okay, so this is the questions list. So the first question, what's the main purpose of peer review? The correct answer is to ensure relevancy, accuracy, and objectivity of the work, rather than really you're trying to be famous by publishing to a journal. It's not really related to give credit to the peer reviewers, but really it's you as the researcher, the scholar, the student trying to build on that particular subject discipline. The second question, I can find a journal article from all those statements are correct. You can find article from OneSearch, from online journal platform, from databases, and also from Google Scholar. And then the third question, search for peer review articles on fake news social media in OneSearch, which filter you should use. It's the second one, the blue one, for peer-reviewed journal articles. That's the filter that you need to apply to. The fourth question, how to check whether the library has access to a journal title. There are three options we highly recommend. Ask Librarian using the A to Z list, or you can just search straightly from one search. And then the fifth question here. What are the proper methods to get full text articles? So let's see, three out of 4 are correct. So the wrong one is not to, please don't really use other people's account to download the PDF, because sometimes it may violate the licensing agreement, or maybe it will cause some abusive usage of certain resources that we have access to. So that's a friendly reminder for you to keep in mind. So that's the post activity that I was planning to do, but unfortunately don't have time to cover. While we are still here, I just want to use maybe 1 more minute to cover what I mean by Ask Librarian. You know, currently the library don't have face-to-face counter service. The library information desk is closed. So you can, if you go to the library homepage, you will see at the very front, we put up a virtual information desk service over here. So it's actually enabled via Zoom. So we are available on weekdays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So we have a roster, and then if you click on the button and then you log on using Zoom, you will be able to do a virtual information desk inquiry with us using this format. So do make use of our services, even though you may not be on campus, and we don't encourage you to come to the library. Please do ask us any questions if you have any of those related to your study. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation, and then we will find a way to add the link to the presentation on the library website. So that's the end of my sharing today, and then I'm just going to post the link here. This is the link of today's feedback survey. Let me add it to the chat box. And then today's session code is 015. Okay, so everyone, please do take a moment to fill out this feedback survey.